to Hyperfixation time. This is Erin,
And this is Danny.
and we're two lifelong best friends. And this is the podcast where we take you down the rabbit holes we can't stop thinking about. Every week, one of us surprises the other with a topic, and we
And we dipe.
and we deep dive into the. Okay. Every week, one of us surprises the other with a topic, and we deep dive into the weird, the wild, and the wonderfully random. From animals to macabre mysteries to history's strangest stories, nothing's off limits, and we're learning right alongside you. So buckle up and get ready to learn about this week's hyperfixation. Yay!
I
Bam,
don't know why.
bam. Episode 3.
Episode 3.
How are you, Danny?
Well, as I told you before we started, I currently actively have a migraine. So I get visual aura, which is, just like blurry, colorful lights in my visual field. And it doesn't seem like it's getting too big right now. Like it might be kind of dissipating, so hopefully it just kind of goes away. But yeah,
Fingers
my
crossed.
my head hurts just in general lately. I got sick over the weekend.
Ah,
So I think last week I told you that Dwight was going out of town for a bachelor party. So yeah, I had Leon by myself all weekend, and like that in itself is just like a lot taking care of a 4-year-old by yourself.
I believe it. Yeah.
We did some fun stuff, but it was a lot. And then on Saturday night, my body just kind of started hurting really bad, like as I
Mm,
was putting Leon to bed, and then I was like, oh, that's strange. And then I got out of the bedroom, and then I was like, yeah, actually, my body hurts really bad. Do I
no.
have a fever right now? And so then I checked my temperature, and I did. And so then I just like felt terrible the whole rest of the weekend. And like on
Mm.
Sunday, I had really bad chest pains for some reason. And yeah, like I said, I've been having like headaches.
Were you better? Like, was the fever and all of that better by like Monday, or was it? Did
Yeah, it
it continue?
was.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. And Dwight and Leon didn't get sick or anything.
Yeah, we're not quite sure on that yet.
Too soon to tell.
Yeah, Dwight's saying he might be sick, but I don't know.
No. Okay.
Um, but other than that, like the weekend was fun. We went to Sassy Cow Creamery and we
Heard
went
of
there
it.
with our mutual friend and their
Yeah.
kid. I
Okay.
sent you a picture of one of the cows because it was
Yes.
just so cute and we were talking about the cows last week. And then it was funny because they actually had some baby calves there and one of the baby calves' names was Dolly.
Really? Oh,
hmm
funny.
It
Yeah.
was fun. They had some baby goats. Well, not baby goats. They were just goats that you could pet too, and their names were Pizza and Stella. And they literally, like, they were like dogs. Like, they wanted you to pet them. They would come up to the edge of the gate and just be like, rubbing up against it and give you their neck to scratch. It was so cute.
My
Me and Leon
gosh.
petted Pizza for a really long time
Oh, my
when she bring
heart.
Pizza home.
Yeah. I've always wanted goats. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they were really
So
cute.
bad. How long were you guys there?
I don't know, like 4 hours. Like, I don't know, it felt like it was maybe not four, but it was a long time. Because they a tour and then that's kind of down the road and then you go over to like the store and they basically have a restaurant and then they have an outdoor play area for kids and that's where you can see the goats and the calves. So yeah, it
Love
was fun
that.
because there's just like a lot to do and then the food was really good and we got ice cream and stuff.
Nice. When
hmm
you sent me the picture, I was telling PJ, I'm like, I want to go to this thing. Like, do you have to have a kid to go, do you think? But then it's also
No.
weird that we're just, I mean, I know you don't, but then it's like,
Yeah.
uh, I don't know.
No, there
It's
was
just
definitely other people on the tour that didn't have kids and they probably
okay.
would have preferred it if I hadn't brought mine. So, you know,
Okay, well
it's
that makes
probably
me.
fine.
We were just like, yeah. He was like, it just makes me think of like the fall. He likes to do like the farm and apple orchard stuff, and I'm like, yep,
Oh, yeah.
I'm the type of person that it's August and I'm ready for fall. So,
I know.
um,
I've been really feeling like fall vibes too, which is kind of annoying also because I feel like winter just takes forever.
yeah,
And then
I
this
know.
summer has gone by so fast. And I'm like wanting fall, but at the same time, I'm like, no, it can't be fall because then it's going to
Yep,
be the long, dreadful winter.
exactly. Never ending winter. I know, because it's bittersweet for me every year because fall's my favorite
hmm
season. Uh, but yeah, and then I'm like, okay, this is it. Time to, we're gonna have
hmm
to buckle down and not see the daylight for most of
I
the next few
know.
months. And
It's
yeah,
depressing.
no, it is. But I
What's
said,
been up with you?
Yeah, so on Saturday we went and picked up PJ's bike, his
It's
motorcycle.
exciting.
Yes, he's very happy. It was very quick. Well, it was a long drive. It was like 2 hours ish to get to where we needed to be, and but he was very excited. Like, super helpful when we showed up. We got it all loaded. The guy helped us get it loaded because we're like, hey, we've got a long drive. You're a professional. Can you help us basically make sure that we have this tied down good and whatever? So he was really helpful. But we took just the back roads home because we were
Oh,
both
okay.
so paranoid about you could only go 55 with this trailer, is what it says. But we were just both so paranoid that something it was going to fall or shift or
Hmm.
I don't know. I can't get used to that. Even when we tow our kayaks, I'm like, oh my God, it's falling off. Like I can just
Oh,
see
that's fair.
it's gonna. I don't know why. I'm paranoid. So anyway, it took a lot longer to get back home because we took
Yeah,
only the back roads. But he's very happy. He's ridden
that's
it a few
cool.
times. He's got his helmet and everything, of course, and yeah, he's just getting used to it. But he loves it. He's like giddy. It's really cute.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, yeah. So that was my weekend. Was mostly around
That's
that.
cool.
Yeah,
I mean, it could have been a pretty drive too, like in the
yeah.
country.
Wasn't bad. Yeah, it was farmland basically. So just tried to make the most of it
That's cool.
while
Any other
panicking and
life
looking out the back.
updates?
No life updates.
Current hyperfixations.
Oh yeah. Do you want to go first?
Sure, why not? Um, so this week I just wanted to talk about a couple different TikTokers that I've been seeing a lot lately that I've been enjoying. So there's this one that I have to send you because I know you would like it. I think you would like at least two of these. Um, he's called Social Repos. Have you heard of
Okay.
him at all? Okay.
No.
Basically, he dresses up in these like all black, very gothic outfits, sometimes dressed up like a fairy, like a black, almost like a demon fairy, like these crazy big wings, right? And it'll be like all black and then like purple feathers. And his skin alone is like probably one of the most palest people I've ever seen, but I think
Really?
he does a little bit of makeup to make it even paler. And then he's got like Lucius Malfoy hair, basically, like
Oh my God, I
long
can
white blonde.
picture it.
Okay. And then I believe he's located in Iceland, or at least he was there for a while. I don't know if that's where he lives or not, but he's taking these videos where he's dressed up in this crazy outfit and then he like sings in front of the most like crazy picturesque beautiful spot you could possibly imagine, and he's always singing like old emo songs.
Oh my God.
So you would love it. But it's just like every time I see one, I'm like, oh well, I have to stop and watch this whole song now
Yeah.
because it's just
Oh,
so beautiful.
that
So yeah.
sounds amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, send that to me.
And then another TikToker I've been getting a lot lately is this dog groomer named Gabe.
Okay.
And so basically him and his boyfriend, they're both dog groomers. And but Gabe does this like dyeing of dogs' hair a lot or
Oh,
their fur a lot more. So like but he uses, pet safe dyes and everything. He always says it
yeah.
in like every single video because people always get really mad. But like he will make poodle look like a giraffe. Or he'll do like a crazy rainbow thing, or like it's just insane the amount of talent that he has. And
Yeah.
then it was funny one day because Dwight was kind of sitting over my shoulder or something. He saw one of the TikToks and he was like, "What is that?"
Yeah.
And so then I clicked on it and he literally lost his mind over the fact that this guy made a dog look like a little panda or whatever, the
Oh my
animal, because he
God.
does a lot of animals and it's so cute always. And so then Dwight and I were just like watching a bunch of them in a row, and it was so funny because I didn't expect Dwight to like have such a big reaction to those videos as he did, but he was just like,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, I can't believe this. Like, I didn't know that this was possible. This guy deserves all the money that he is getting, and more." Like
Yeah.
he was freaking out.
That's
So that was funny.
hilarious. Oh my God. Yeah, talk about two people that found like their niche in this world
Very
and like
specific.
are running with it and probably making a lot of money on it. I love it. I love
And the
it.
last one is also very specific. But it's basically is this guy named Matt Bass. And he lives in New York City and he judges people for walking poorly on the street. It's so funny.
Oh, I
He'll
love
just be
that.
like standing behind people. Oh, they talked about it in Side Note. recently.
Okay, I was gonna
Yes.
say I
And
feel
then
like
I
this.
started getting them too. Yeah.
Okay, and I may have gotten it on Instagram as well.
Oh, maybe.
Okay,
But yeah,
yeah.
I think they're really funny too because I do get very annoyed by people walking really slowly or taking up the whole entire sidewalk and stuff. And it's like,
Okay,
bro, do you not have any social awareness whatsoever? This is crazy.
biggest pet peeve. I'm like, the world
Mm-hmm.
is not revolving around you, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Get out. I'll get out of your way.
Right.
Like that's how I am, and I just don't understand how people don't realize. To be honest,
I know.
it's really frustrating. So I love that he's doing that.
Mm-hmm.
People should be shamed for that.
Yeah, it's funny. But
Uh,
yeah, that's all the TikTokers, like the main ones I've been seeing lately that just kind of bring me a little bit of joy.
Nice. I like it. I really am not on TikTok, so you just have to keep me up
Mm-hmm.
with what's going
Okay.
on. Actually, I went on the other day and looked at my
Mm-hmm.
messages.
You just had a bunch for me. That's how it happens to me when I go on Instagram, on my personal Instagram. I'll be like, oh, I have 10 messages from Aaron.
Yep, yep, that
Whoops.
makes sense. Well, at least we do it to each other on
Yeah.
different platforms. But I was like, oh, there's like 37 TikToks that I need to
No.
catch up on. It was great. It was fun because, we talk about we're pretty similar, so it's all
Mm-hmm.
interesting stuff. But I need to go back in there. I love hearing like what's going on in the TikTok world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for my hyperfixation this week, ugh, I'm trying to decide if it is a hyperfixation or if it's like almost like what would you call reverse? You just get bored of something. We started a video game, okay? Me and PJ did. And I just think it's okay to quit a video game if it's not like if you
Yeah.
don't like it, you know?
Same with like not finishing a book.
I know, I was thinking that too
It's
afterwards.
hard though.
Yeah, it's hard because you spend money on these games. But Peach and I had heard, I think I texted you and our other friend about it, but
Yeah.
a couple months ago. But PJ had heard that there's this game that everyone was
You can
loving
say the name of the
and the
game.
storyline was really good. It's called Expedition 33. And so we decided, okay, the storyline's great. I love the story parts of video games, and he likes to play. So we were like, he'll play on the PS5, and I'll watch for the storyline and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And the first like opening kind of cut scenes and that storyline was interesting, like it was intriguing. And we started playing and then we kept going and we kept going and we are just like, okay, like when is this gonna hook us? The fighting style is just not my jam as well.
Mm.
And there's a lot of it. Like normally I can get through a game if the fighting style is not my jam, but it's like here and there. But
Yeah.
this is like
And you're
every
not even
corner.
playing it, you're
And
just
I'm not even
watching it
playing.
too, so that's even worse.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, like, oh my God, another freaking fighting scene. Anyway, we got to a certain point in the story and we were just like, I think that was supposed to be really dramatic, but we were just like, I don't care. And so we were just like, let's just stop.
Yeah.
Let's just stop. I mean, it's frustrating because you spend money on a game,
Yeah.
and you spend time. Then so we went on YouTube and we got a breakdown of the rest of the story basically just to
Mm-hmm.
see like what was it? What did we miss? We watched this YouTube video. It was not something I would call like, oh my God, such a good storyline.
That's a bummer.
I
Weird.
know, a bummer for sure, but also glad that we didn't put any more time into it because I think then
Yeah.
I would have been more frustrated later. So I don't know. Sorry if anybody out there likes Expedition 33, but it just was not for us. So I guess my hyperfixation, I was just like, yeah, we can quit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why I never think about that, or like a book or TV show or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say I get really bad about that with books too. Like especially when like I know in the past I've read a lot of books like per year. Like I got like
Yeah.
way into audiobooks. And this year I'm like really behind. I think I've only read quotes like 23 books so far,
Yeah.
but that's
Yeah.
like way less than I've done the last couple years. I'm also just not finishing a lot of books because
Yeah.
it's just like not grabbing me. And then I used to sit there and force myself to finish stuff and then I would have no memory of the book because it's like my brain
Yep.
isn't listening. I'm not
Yeah.
interested.
You're like, I don't need to store this memory of this book because it's not
Yeah.
important to me. Yeah. I hear
So
ya.
it's like what was the point of all that anyways?
Right. Right.
But
I think it's okay to quit things sometimes.
it is. Especially when we have so much media these days.
I
Like
know.
there's just never ending amount of stuff.
Yep. Yep.
And like replaying stuff and rereading stuff is good too. And I feel like that's something that we don't do often enough. I mean, I don't know about you, but I
Yeah.
was kind of saying we as like a culture, maybe.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm bad at rewatching shows or
Mm-hmm.
movies, unless it's like my all-time favorite movies. But then,
Right.
like video games, I might go back to a video game here and there, just
Yeah.
depending.
It's been nice like playing some video games with Leon that
Mm,
I haven't touched in years. My Nintendo Switch has been just like getting so much more life out of it again because we're going
hmm.
back and like playing some of these games that I played back in, I don't know, 2019 or 2018, 17, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's kind of
that's
cool.
fun. Yeah, kind of like revisit it through
Hmm.
his eyes, kind of.
Yeah, it's fun. Okay, do you have anything else you want to talk about before we
Nope.
get into our topic?
I am ready for the topic. I
All
don't know what it
right.
will be.
Well, I'm gonna do the best that I can. I basically did a ton of research for this. I feel like I wrote a freaking paper. I
Okay.
have, let me count really quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pages
Oh
of
my
notes.
God.
I will say that a lot, a lot of it's like big fonts and stuff because it's like copied and pasted from websites like this. It's just notes, you know?
Okay.
But it just like it just kept kind of snowballing. I would like research one thing and then I was like, well, I got to talk about this thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's incredibly random. And as the third episode into our series, it's really just going to show that this podcast can be about pretty much anything
All right.
because we just have a wide range of interests.
Yeah. Yeah.
So last week I said that my clue was it was something that gained popularity in like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my second clue. I'm holding up a toy cheeseburger.
Okay. Is
If you got this, I would be
I don't
really
know
surprised.
McDonald's.
Okay, I will say it has to do with McDonald's, our
Is it
topic
like the
today.
fact that they're bringing back like the old school stuff right now, or is that just
uh,
different?
no.
No.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll just tell you what we're talking about. Should we
Okay.
do the drum roll?
Yeah, 1 second.
We have new sound effects.
I think so, at least. Let's see.
Today we are talking about Morgan Spurlock and the Supersize Me documentary.
Oh my God. Okay, yeah, I did not get that. Okay.
Yeah, well, here we go. So, just to get started, I'm wondering like what's your memory of the Supersize Me documentary and what's your knowledge of Morgan Spurlock as a person? I'm wondering if you watched it in health class or
I
anything.
was gonna say, did we watch it in school? I think we
I
did.
did, but
I think I did
I don't
too.
think we had the same health class as we talked about before, so I wasn't sure if you got to see it or not.
Yeah, I do think I saw it. I don't remember what it was. Obviously, I knew I know it was about something with McDonald's and like something with somebody getting like a lot of food every time or something like that.
Okay.
I can't or like always I don't know, some sort of study or like look into it, but I could be wrong.
Hmm.
I just remember
No, I mean
vaguely.
you're right,
Oh, okay.
I would say. Um, And so I'm assuming you don't really know anything about Morgan Spurlock.
Not that I
Morgan Spurlock.
not
Jeez,
that
I'm about to say that name so many times.
yeah. Not that I can remember, but I feel like it'll come
Okay,
back to me as you go or something. I'm gonna be like,
sure.
"Oh yeah."
Okay, so basically, like I do remember watching it in health class, and I thought it was interesting. Like when we watched it, I don't necessarily remember. I don't know. I don't really remember it being like anything super crazy or life changing for me when we watched it
Mhm.
necessarily, but I do remember like, vaguely being interested in it. But then, so I'll get more into this later as well. But Morgan Spurlock is like the face of this documentary. He's the director. He was the guy in it. He did the experiment.
Mhm.
But after the success of the documentary, one of his projects that he made later was a show called 30 Days. And again, I'll talk about this more, but when I was in college, we had to watch one episode of 30 Days for, I don't know, one of my classes.
Mhm.
And I really thought that was super interesting, that show. And I basically ended up watching the rest of the show after that,
Oh,
just because I thought it was fascinating. And I don't know if I saw Supersize Me again in college or not. I don't
okay.
remember. Um,
Did you get extra credit for watching all the
oh
episodes?
God, no, that would be great. I just, and I'll explain what it was about, and I think you might find it interesting too.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was just a interesting show to me. And then later on in life, like when I got really interested in podcasts, there's this one podcast I listened to called Maintenance Phase. Um, and they kind of debunk a lot of like phony science about a lot of health related things.
Oh,
So I know they did an episode on Morgan Spurlock and Supersize Me specifically. And I thought that was really interesting. I re-listened to it for this episode as well.
well, nice.
Um, but yeah, so without further ado, I will just get into it.
All right.
Um,
I'm ready.
so I guess, sorry, let me do a little bit more preambling.
Okay.
So I wanted to focus more like not just on the documentary, but Morgan Spurlock as a whole,
Okay.
and talk about kind of like his influence on today's view of fast food and the 30-day challenge that you often see on YouTube, I feel like
Mm-hmm.
is very popular. Um, and I just find it particularly interesting to like look back at pop culture moments in history and kind of like see how society maybe kind of got it wrong. Like they got the
Oh.
wrong message from, I don't know, whatever it was. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
I
Like,
just think like anything that had such a big influence on culture, I just find really
and it's
interesting.
like based on a lot of times it's like based on how it gets marketed or how like
Yeah.
some of
Or
that
just like
stuff.
correct timing a lot of the
Oh, yeah.
times,
Yep.
current fads and trends.
Are you about to tell
Um
me that McDonald's is really healthy for you and you should eat it every day for every meal?
Oh, yep, you got
Okay.
it.
All right. I'm not so.
Foreshadowing. Um So, just like a brief kind of history of where Morgan's filmmaking began. He also created this show called I Bet You Will for MTV, and that was kind of like the beginning of his career in that sector. And I Bet You Will was basically an internet show where they just had like 5-minute episodes. This is all pre YouTube, way earlier than YouTube. So, it was just
Oh.
on a specific website. Um, and it would basically be him going up to ordinary people, and then they would do stunts in exchange for money. So he would be like, bet them to eat a full jar of mayonnaise and then give them money for it.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Um, or it says a worm burrito, or
Ugh.
taking shots of corn oil, or Pepto Bismol, lemon juice, hot sauce, or cold chicken broth.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
Okay. And where was it? Like, where was he doing this? Just anywhere?
I believe this was in New York
Okay.
City, or maybe that was even on the Jersey Shore.
Okay.
This isn't good journalism on my part. I can't
No.
remember.
No, that's okay. I
I just
just
know that he
curious.
lived in New York City, but for some reason Jersey Shore is like in my head.
Probably, I feel like was it
So
around that time as well when the show was out?
no, it wasn't. Because this would have been probably like in the late
Before.
90s,
Oh,
and
I
Jersey
see.
Shore was like, 2010 so or so.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. You're right.
Um, but then okay, so that show kind of, got a little bit of I don't know what the word I'm looking for. That show did okay, and then he was working on new ideas,
Hmm.
and so then he was kind of talking with his now ex-wife Alex Jamieson, and she is a big part of the Supersize Me documentary as well.
Hmm.
But they were just kind of like sitting together on the couch watching the news one day, and then they saw this clip about these two teenage girls that were suing McDonald's.
Oh.
And I'll get a little bit into that as well in just a moment, but basically Morgan said, "What if I eat nothing but McDonald's for a month?" And she was kind of like, "No, please don't do that." And she was also on a vegan diet, so like she
Oh
really didn't want him
God.
to do that.
Like absolutely not.
Yeah. And they kind of like had an argument about it, but he basically was very adamant about it. He said that it would make a really good movie because either it would like showcase the problems of eating at McDonald's, or it would just basically be a really good advertisement for them if it turned out that it was fine.
I mean, I guess he's right. Yeah. There two outcomes.
Yeah. And so I'll talk about just the actual documentary for a little bit so that you kind of know, what it was about. But um, basically, right at the beginning of the documentary, they talk about this 2002 lawsuit that was against McDonald's from
And this
these
is
teens.
the documentary
Mhm.
is Supersize Me, or is it the 30-day one? He
Oh,
said,
sorry. So this is Supersize Me.
okay, it is. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. I thought so.
Okay, the lawsuit was Jaslyn Bradley and Ashley Pellman, 19 and 14 years old. They sued McDonald's Corporation and the two Bronx locations that they specifically went to all the
Mhm.
time. Okay, I kind of just wanted to read this excerpt from this article that was from the original New York Times article from 2002.
Okay.
So it says, at the heart of the lawsuit brought by Ms. Pellman and Ms. Bradley is whether McDonald's is responsible for their obesity because it did not provide the necessary information about the health risks associated with its meals. If their if their lawyer Samuel Hirsch makes it to trial with the suit, he hopes to turn it into a class action on behalf of all New York children under age 18 who claim health problems they say resulted from eating at McDonald's. The company's lawyers argued yesterday that the case did not even warrant the court's attention, saying the matter was really about common sense and individual responsibility. So this is quotes. Every responsible person understands what is in products such as hamburgers and fries, as well as the consequences to one's waistline, and potentially to one's health, of excessively eating those foods over a prolonged period of time. End quote. The lawyers wrote in their motion to have the case dismissed. But Mr. Hirsch and the chain's billion-dollar advertising campaign encourages children to find their inner glutton. Says, quotes, young individuals are not in a position to make a choice after the onslaught of advertising and promotions, quote, Mr. Hirsch said in an interview. Walt Riker, a spokesman for McDonald's, denied that McDonald's makes children a target of its advertising. Says no one cares more about kids than McDonald's, he said. Neither side argues with the fact that America's waistline is expanding at a time when a small size is a rarity on a coffee shop or fast food menu.
Hmm.
According to a study conducted last year by the Surgeon General, 61% of Americans are overweight and 14% of adolescents ages 12 to 19 are overweight, a figure that has tripled over the last 2 decades.
Wow. Okay.
Um, Okay. Defenders of the, sorry, this is a bit longer than I thought it was. Okay. Defenders of the fast food industry point to changes in lifestyle that have made Americans more sedentary, while Mr. Hirsch and others say the problem has more to do with what he called the supersize culture of the fast food industry. Miss Bradley's order of a Big Mac with supersized fries and supersized Coke contains 1,600 calories. According to the United States Department of Agriculture's dietary guidelines in 2000, the recommended total daily allowance for older children, including teenage girls, is 2,200 calories. Miss Bradley's father, Israel, who now lives with his daughter in Brooklyn, said he never saw anything in the McDonald's restaurants he visited providing information about the ingredients in the food, according to court documents. I always believed McDonald's was healthy for my children, he said in an affidavit. Mr. Reichert and McDonald's makes nutritional information available in a variety of ways, including brochures and posters on its website. On a visit yesterday to the McDonald's on Bruckner Boulevard in the Bronx, one of those named in the lawsuit, the listing of ingredients in the food could not be found at all.
Wow.
And then, so that's kind of the end of the article. And
Hmm.
ultimately, the lawsuit was dismissed as the two girls failed to prove that the food caused their injuries.
Dang it. Okay, I was gonna say, I mean, you think of just like also, I mean, I know that they were a little bit older, but like the advertisement of like a Happy Meal,
Hmm.
and getting a toy with it, but those are still smaller, I guess you think of, but I don't remember when it was like like I went to McDonald's a lot growing up, I feel like, but I don't remember
Yeah, same.
seeing the Supersize Me part. Do?
No, me either. And like, I guess this is kind of a spoiler, but not really a spoiler. They did get rid of the supersize
Yeah.
shortly. It was actually shortly before the documentary ended up coming out publicly. Um,
Okay.
and so that would have been like 2002. So we would have
Okay.
been 9. And I'm sure when we were kids, we were getting Happy Meals, like you said.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
Okay.
so
I'm just
yeah,
like,
I
but my
guess,
mom would eat. Yeah, I was like trying to
right,
think. I don't know, but yeah, I knew that I had stopped, but I just didn't know like when
right.
or I don't remember seeing it. But no, that
Hmm.
makes sense. 9 years old.
Yeah. And so there's like a few things that really stuck out to me with that article that I just thought was really interesting. One was the fact that the dad said that he thought McDonald's was healthy for his kids. I have literally, that seems insane to me. And I don't know if that's just because we have lived in this culture after this documentary came out? Or did people like actually think McDonald's was healthy at one point? That just seemed so mind-blowing to me to hear that said out
Yeah.
loud.
Yeah, well, I feel the same because it's a cheeseburger or whatever.
Hmm.
But like, America's such a like meat, cheese,
Right.
potatoes, culture that even making a meal at home usually has some of those things. At least I remember that
Hmm.
growing up of those three things. So it's almost like, oh, it's just, it'll just be quicker and
Yeah.
whatever. But I don't remember there ever being a time that I was like, oh, I can eat McDonald's because
Healthy.
it's healthy. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But
It
interesting.
seemed very interesting to me. And then the other thing that was really interesting to me was them pointing out that there's like no nutritional information at these places.
Mm,
And it's something that they brought up in the documentary a little bit later as well. That also not everybody even had internet at home at that time,
yeah,
which was like that was just it's so such a weird thing to think about. Like
I
even
know.
though we grew up where we had dial up and everything, I don't know. I think I always remember there being internet from a very young age, like maybe 5 or so. I don't know.
Yeah, or at
And
least
so it
having a
just seems crazy.
computer.
Right, which you could get internet on.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, who's going to McDonald's website? It would take you 15 minutes to load their website up just so you could see what's inside. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to do
That's so
that.
true. Yeah, that's so true. And now I'm just thinking, and I'm sure this will come up, but all the
Hmm.
menus I see now have the calories or I think that it's like a requirement now or something, isn't it? Or having at least some sort of
Yes.
nutritional information. Okay.
You are exactly right. That was my next point that I was going to say is that as of 2018, restaurants with more than 20 locations must provide calorie and nutrition information.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So, yeah, because I was like, I mean, man, every time you go in anywhere, it tells you, like, oh, this is 400 calories or whatever
Hmm. Yep,
right
I
after.
look at it all the time. Yeah.
Hmm. And then the last thing that I just found interesting, but this is like totally a personal note, is the fact that Dwight was literally working at a McDonald's in New York City when this lawsuit happened.
Oh my God. Does he remember?
No, this is the funny thing. I was talking to him about it because I think I asked if he knew anything about it at the time or whatever. But the thing is, there's obviously like hundreds of freaking McDonald's in New York City. It's
Y-
huge.
Yeah.
Um, they're like I'm assuming, like every couple blocks, if not more.
Right.
And
Yeah. Or
anyways,
at least back then for sure.
yeah. So he didn't work at the location that they were talking about. And yeah, he was just kind of like, I don't know, whatever about it. And I just thought it was so funny because I was like, if there was a giant documentary that was basically attacking Piggly Wiggly and it took place in our hometown
Right.
when I worked there, I would find that so fascinating.
Well, yeah, totally. Even our state.
Mhm. Yeah, they did a Piggly Wiggly documentary from 2009 to 11. I would be
Yeah,
like, "What? That's insane."
that's when we were there. Yeah. Oh my
Hmm.
gosh. Yeah, you're right. That's funny that he was just like, whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, I do that to him every once in a while, but he's just like, I mean, the scale of New York is just, it's so much bigger than what people can like think of,
Yeah,
especially if they're from a small town like us.
right. That makes sense.
Um, so yeah, I just found that a little interesting. And then I wanted to play a clip for you.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay, you can see.
Yes, I can see.
Where 1 in 4 people are obese. I grew up in West Virginia, currently the second fattest state in America. When I was growing up, my mother cooked dinner every single day. Almost all my memories of her are in the kitchen. And we never ate out, only on those few rare special occasions. Today, families do it all the time, and they're paying for it, not only with their wallets, but with their waistlines.
Took a few clips from this, but that one just kind of killed me because it really insinuates that because people aren't getting meals from their moms, that's what's causing them to be obese.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think of that at first, but now that you say that, it's like, oh yeah, just because your mom cooked, because I can tell you I had some delicious meals growing up, but they were not all healthy.
Yeah, it just seemed like a really like weird. I don't know. It just kind of set the tone for me of like, okay, is this gonna be a good documentary? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching this, 24 years after it was made, or 23 years after it was made. So it's like,
Right.
oh boy.
Also, I like how it ended with somebody smoking. And I know people still smoke, but like it was more
Oh
prevalent
yeah.
that I was like, oh, there's also that can.
Well, they do actually make like a lot of comparisons between just like being obese and
Oh.
smoking. That's kind
Oh,
of like one
okay.
of the big points that they make in this documentary.
Interesting. All right.
Um, basically, in the in the documentary, they do like an initial doctor check-in. And then I have some more clips that I
Okay.
wanted to show you.
Any food allergies or anything?
No, there's no heart disease or diabetes or blood pressure or cancer in the immediate family.
My grandfather's had a couple open heart surgeries.
Mhm. 1 out of 4 grandparents is dead.
Yeah.
Good genes. That's the important thing.
Any alcohol use?
Now, none.
You don't smoke.
I used to, but I don't.
Any drug use at all?
Not for a long time.
Are you sexually active at present?
Yes.
Quick little note from that one was just the part where they go, any alcohol use? Now? None.
Yeah.
This is foreshadowing. I'm putting these clips in here
Oh.
as more foreshadowing to what we're getting to,
All
okay?
right. All right.
130 over 105.
120 over 80?
That's what it is? Other guys are stressing me out.
You're much more relaxed. I tend to do that to my patients.
See?
Swallow, please. Your reflexes are perfect. That's good. That count. Normal.
So everything looks pretty normal here.
Good.
We'll skip checking for hernias.
We're going to do a rectal exam. I'd like to be more thorough than that.
And I like doctors to be thorough.
You're going to go down.
Oh my God.
My gosh. I was not expecting that.
I know you weren't. That's why I had to put it, because I was sitting here like, that was me when I was watching this. I was like, oh my God. I was not expecting him to show it. So for anybody that's listening, we just watched Morgan Spurlock get a finger put up his ass,
Yep.
basically, for a
Yep.
rectical.
Rectical.
I can't not talk. For a rectical. Oh my God. This is terrible. Anyways, I give up.
Rectal exam.
Thank you.
I like rectical better.
I had to see a reaction to it. That was literally the only reason why I included it. I just thought it was so funny when I saw it.
God.
So back to it. So basically, with this whole scene, this montage of doctors that were checking in on him, they just wanted to like show that he, is healthy and normal. And the doctors basically didn't really seem too concerned with Morgan Spurlock going on this challenge that he's about to do.
Mhm.
And they just thought like, maybe there would be some minor changes in his health, but nothing like too crazy.
Okay, so that was all before, like, this is
Yeah.
what I'm like, and then we're gonna probably get an after the
Yeah.
30 days. Okay.
You got it. And so now we're kind of to the point where they talk about what the actual challenge is that he's doing in this documentary.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing is he decides to limit his walking to only 5,000 steps a day, which is supposed to mimic the average American that might be working like an office job, or that Americans live this very sedentary life,
Yeah. Yep. I feel that. I feel that.
And then there's 4 other rules that he has to follow during this month-long journey. So rule 1 is he only does a supersize if they ask him. So like if the cashier says, "Do you want to supersize that?" then he has to. Ultimately, this actually only happened 9 times in the month
Wow.
that he did this.
Okay.
And then rule number 2 is that he can only eat what they sell at McDonald's, and that's water included, which that part to me seemed like the most unhinged part. The only water he could drink is bottles of water that they would be selling at the register.
It's just water.
I know. And that to me seemed the most, like I said, the most unhinged and even dated. I feel like people now would not do that part of it. Like,
Yeah, I don't
water's
feel
just
like
a given.
I don't feel like it's necessary, to be honest,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
okay.
And they don't even talk about that at any point either in the documentary, like him being like, "I'm so thirsty" or anything like that.
Oh.
But and then rule number 3 was he has to eat everything that's on the menu at least once. So like he can't just be like, "I'm just gonna get, cheeseburgers for every single meal." He has
Okay.
to actually go through the menu. And then rule number 4 is he has to have 3 meals a day, so breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh, okay. I feel like I'm getting a stomach ache just thinking about this.
For sure. And then, basically I watched the whole documentary and I felt like there was a few main points that they really tried to drive in.
Hmm.
And so one was that McDonald's lures in young kids with the playgrounds, birthday parties, toys, clown. And do you even remember that cartoon that they used to have?
Kind of. Yeah. Yeah. Did you have like a VHS
Yeah,
one? Okay.
I
Yeah.
loved those things. It was like a couple VHSs with Ronald McDonald and all his friends.
Yep.
Um,
Grimace and
hmm
what was the guy that was, oh, the Hamburglar? Is that was it?
Yeah, and there was like this bird girl, but I don't remember her name either. But yeah, I loved those. And it's funny because I feel like McDonald's did have this really big criticism when we were growing up of being so targeted to kids. But now that I am a mom, I'm missing that sometimes because it's like, oh, I'll take Leon. Sometimes you just need an easy meal. You need somewhere to go. And they will give him the crappiest little toy. It'll just fall apart, or it won't even be a toy. Like it's just garbage,
It used to
you
be
know?
like legit when we had them growing up. Do you remember
Yeah.
the Beanie Baby one? I loved
Yeah,
that
that was
one.
huge.
Yeah.
Um,
That's sad. That sucks that that kind of went out the window, but
yeah, every once in a while they'll have something that's kind of legit, but for the most part, it's actual garbage.
yeah.
Um,
Interesting.
and then there's so many McDonald's that have just like gotten rid of their play places,
Yeah.
and the US is just not catered to families with young kids. There's just not that many places for us to go, and you have to silent your kid and just not let them be running free. And like McDonald's used to be a place where you could just go with your kids and hang out.
It
And
even also like had like it was like the separate section in the back. There were doors, so like if people didn't want to hear the kids or be around that, then you didn't have to. But it's just funny that you bring this up though, because just this weekend we were stopping somewhere and we noticed that there was a Burger King nearby that
Mhm.
had a playground outside, but it was an
Yeah, was
outside
it in
one.
Middleton?
No,
Sorry,
no, it
there's
was.
one in Middleton too.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. No, it was in Baraboo,
Oh, okay.
next to the place that we were dropping the trailer or picking it up and dropping the
Mhm.
trailer off. But I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen a fast food
Mhm.
restaurant with any sort of play area in a long
Mhm.
time. And then I told PJ, do you remember when McDonald's had this? And
Yeah.
he's like, yeah. And I said, yeah, were you like, in the ball pit? Oh my gosh. He's like, I was
Mhm.
never in the ball pit. I was always in the ball pit. He's like,
That's
no, I
funny.
was climbing on the outside of slides
Oh, there you go.
and like being all over the place kind
Mhm.
of thing. But that's interesting. That just came up.
Yeah, that is interesting. And I mean, they still exist, they're around, but and I do take Leon to them sometimes, but they're not as big as they used to be either. It'll just
Yeah.
be one tiny little slide, and I don't know. It's just not what it used to be.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad. So it's just funny that this opinion that I have is not uncommon amongst parents our age. It's just funny to see us kind of reverting, like, no, McDonald's, please bring back the kids things.
Right. But you also don't want to eat the food every single day
Right.
either. But
Right.
you can do that too. Or I know that they do apple slices and
Yeah,
Happy Meals now
exactly.
too, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's something too. And kids just
Um,
have to eat and burn the energy. Yeah.
like whatever. I
No
mean, fed
judgment.
is best is what they say. It's like if
Exactly.
my kid's gonna eat chicken nuggets, then I'm happy he's eating something.
Yep, exactly. No judgment at all.
hmm so then another main point of the documentary was just criticism against sizes that a lot of fast food items have. So, I mean, the Supersize Me is literally the title of this movie.
Hmm.
Um, but just in general, like talking about, these crazy soda sizes. And I think that that makes sense. Some of the sizes are pretty ridiculous.
Hmm.
Nobody really needs that.
Yeah, other
Um,
countries make fun of us even to this
right,
day of our portion sizes.
right.
Yeah, it's
And we're
insane.
just used to it. So it's like, I don't
Yep.
know.
Yep.
And then unfortunately, the documentary is filled with like a lot of B-roll of just fat people and like criticizing people for being lazy, for eating out, and just like being obese. And so this is, I would say, one of the biggest, criticisms against this documentary today is just like how much fat shaming there is.
Ugh.
Um,
There's
yeah,
so
so
many things that can contribute to being overweight. I can imagine it being pretty bad if it was filmed in the 90s, though, I feel like.
well, it was filmed
Or the
in like
2000s.
2002, but yeah,
Yep.
same,
Yep.
very close. Um, and Yeah, I think that that's one of the sad things about the fact that it's still shown in a lot of health classes today. And I feel
Really?
like I don't think that I mean, maybe some health teachers are kind of talking about it as a discussion with them afterwards, but I feel like probably most people that are seeing it in a health class are getting it without any, I don't know, any context or conversation afterwards, and so they probably just like feel terrible about themselves. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
so I think that
true.
that's
That's
sad.
the thing about this topic I was kind of thinking of when you mentioned it is there's a balance, of course, not trying to
Hmm.
fat shame in these situations, but also recognizing you need to be more aware of the
Hmm.
nutritional value versus whatever. But yeah, this just felt like it feel like it was one of those things that just would have been done so differently if it was done today, you know,
Yeah.
so many ways.
Um, and then they also, like I said before, they do keep comparing obesity to smoking and basically saying, people are addicted to McDonald's, and like customers will call themselves like, or sorry, not customers, but McDonald's will refer to customers as like heavy users if they go there a lot.
Oh,
So it's like,
really?
yeah, it's just like very comparable to, a drug or smoking addiction.
Okay.
One thing I think that the documentary did talk about that I feel like is a fair point is they were talking about school lunches. Um, and just like complaints against those. And I don't know if they're a lot better now than they were back in the day as well. They probably are to a degree,
Hmm.
but like they were just kind of talking about the lack of nutritional items in school lunches and just the bad quality of it. And then the interesting thing was they actually went to a school in Appleton, Wisconsin, and they showed it was like I forget what it was called, but it was kind of like a charter school,
Mm.
like not the main public school in Appleton, but um, they had this big program all about healthy foods, and they were really contributing to the success of their students and their attitudes to the fact that they were actually getting these healthy, nutritious foods. And it looked delicious too. Like the meals looked good. It's not like they were like healthy and it was like disgusting bland things, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. It looked good,
Yeah,
you know?
just like a good amount of some of the more
Yeah.
nutritious stuff, but it doesn't have to be all kale and spinach or something.
Yeah, like it's just,
Yeah.
like having fresh fruit and vegetables and having freshly made sandwiches even, or I don't know. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but I do think again that that was a fair point that the documentary made was talking about school lunches. We want to feed our kids nutritiously. So basically the Supersize Me documentary ends with his results of what happens to his body and he gains a lot of weight. Well, he gains 24 and a half pounds total.
Oh my gosh.
And he complains a lot of like having chest pressure. The doctors find that he has a fatty liver, higher cholesterol.
That's almost a pound a day. 24 pounds in 30 days. Oh
True.
my God.
Yeah. And yeah, doctors basically suggest that, he stops when he gets like halfway through because they did another midway check-in and they were like, you should stop doing this. Like it's not good for you. You should go to the emergency room if you have severe chest pains, things like
Oh
that.
my God. Wait,
But he obviously keeps going.
was the 24 pounds at the end of the 30 days or was it
Yes,
okay.
sorry.
Okay.
That's why I got confused because my notes were confusing, but
No, it's all good.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he complains of like those pains and then he also says that he's depressed, exhausted, moody, and he has a bad sex life.
Oh man.
Um for sake of time, I'm not going to show you too many more clips, but because I literally have like 3 more of these doctor clips, but let me share at least one.
Eat this food for a year?
No, I don't think so.
We see people who like go on an alcohol binge and their numbers go up like crazy. But to go on, a Mac attack, and they've got numbers to show that tax your liver too. I would never, honestly, I wouldn't have even thought about this, but it makes sense. Now that we have the data, it definitely makes sense.
So yeah,
Mac attack.
Mac attack, and basically his liver, as they're saying, is basically shot. They're saying it's equivalent to like a severe alcoholic, basically.
My God.
The documentary just kind of ends by calling out the supersize option just in general. Like I feel like that's their main takeaway at the end of it is get rid of the supersize option.
Mm-hmm.
So the impacts of this documentary was that it did $22 million at the box office. It only had a $65,000 budget. So that's a pretty crazy ratio there.
Yep.
And it was Oscar nominated as well.
No
It was
way.
also what?
Oscar nominated? Okay.
Yeah. And basically just before the actual theatrical release of the documentary, In May 2004, McDonald's retired the Supersize Me option. Um, and so the company claimed that it had nothing to do with the documentary, but a lot of people think it probably did have to do with that because of all the buzz of the premiere from the Sundance Film Festival. Because it basically, Supersize Me did really, really well at Sundance. And so, yeah, they think McDonald's, caught some of that wind after
They're
that.
like, no, it's just a coincidence, I swear.
Yeah. And then, since the documentary has come out, it's been, many years already. There's been a lot of controversy surrounding it. A lot of people saying that it's not legit. Some of the main criticisms are that he doesn't have any logs of his meals. So, like, he didn't release exactly what he ate each day.
Oh, like no evidence. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then a lot of people say that he didn't tell the doctors he was drinking, which again is foreshadowing
Okay.
to something I will talk about in a bit.
Okay.
And then in 2006, there was a professor in Sweden that tried to copy the Supersize Me challenge,
Hmm.
and he couldn't get the same results. So this was something that I thought was silly because it was listed as like a criticism of this documentary, but when you actually read this study that the Swedish professor did, it didn't make any sense at all. So basically, he took 7 of his students, all in their 20s, and they had him eat like Spurlock for 30 days. They were given some leeway because they were able to eat bacon and eggs for their first meal of the day, and then they were allowed to trade in burgers for pizza, and they didn't have to solely rely on McDonald's for their fast food. And it's like, well, you're just changing the entire thing. You can't say that you did the same experiment if you didn't do the same experiment.
Yeah, that's like science 101.
Hmm.
If you want to prove a study and you replicate it, you have to do the same parameters or whatever,
Yeah.
and various ages and body types.
Hmm. So yeah, I just thought that was kind of silly.
That is.
So there was some counter documentaries that were made as well. So there's this one that was called Fathead, and it was directed by and starred Chris Naughton, who is a comedian, I guess. And he basically had the same criticisms that I just mentioned, like where there's no food logs and stuff. He said that it was impossible to reach 5,000 calories a day, which is in the documentary. I guess they say at some point, like he's averaging 5,000 calories a day with his McDonald's diet. Yeah, so Chris Naughton is just trying to call out like a lot of the science in the documentary, and he's also calling out a lot of the politics surrounding like the obesity epidemic that was going on in the early 2000s. So he goes on an all fast food diet, mainly eating food from McDonald's. And then for his dietary intake, he aimed to keep his calories at around 2,000 and his carbohydrates to around 100 grams per day. He did not restrict fat at all. He ended up eating about 100 grams of fat per day. And then he also decided to walk 6 nights a week instead of his usual 3. And then after a month of eating that way, he lost 12 pounds.
Wow.
So I don't know. There was just like a lot of backlash, basically, to
Yeah.
everything that Spurlock said in history.
Did he actually do what he said he did? It doesn't feel like
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Even though that one study
Um,
was weird, but you know.
yeah. And then this obviously spurred a lot of success for Morgan Spurlock, though, because of the film's success. He did continue on making documentaries. He made another one that was called Where in the World is Osama bin Laden? And this premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in 2008. I did not really delve deep into that, but I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. Did you watch that most recent documentary on Osama bin Laden that was released
No.
on Netflix? Yeah, it was
Uh-uh.
interesting.
I did not hear about that. I will
Yeah.
have to check that out. How
Mhm.
recently?
Like a month ago, probably?
Oh, okay. We're about to renew our Netflix subscription, so
Oh, okay.
I'll have to
Gotcha.
get to that one. In 2005 to 2008 is when he released his 30 Days show. The way that this show works is every single episode is very similar to his Supersize Me challenge, where somebody follows like a 30-day challenge, but it would be taking one person and making them live a completely different life for 30 days. And so he himself does, I think, 4 of these challenges, but the rest of the episodes are like they're random people.
Okay.
And they each enter a completely different theme. And his episodes revolved around him living on minimum wage for 30 days. which at the time was $5.15 an hour. And then another one that he did is he had to live in a jail for 30 days. He had to live on an Indian reservation for 30 days, and he had to work in a coal mine for 30 days.
Okay, so more like living, less eating, I
Yeah,
guess.
so they're not
Yeah.
they're not revolving food so much
Yeah.
anymore. It's more like
Okay.
just about life. And that's why I thought it was so interesting because it's like, I don't know, I love a good social experiment, you know?
Yeah.
And just like making somebody learn through experience, I think is really interesting and it
Hmm.
can really like build a lot of empathy in a person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
I was gonna say it almost sounds like they could be like those ones that he did could be Mr. Beast videos like today, you know.
oh yeah,
He
yeah,
does a lot of
definitely.
that stuff.
And that's exactly what I was saying. I am so curious to know what his impact on like that type of video was because there's
Yeah.
so many videos on YouTube where it's like, I did this for 30 days. I did this for 30 days. I went
Yeah.
to I've seen one where it's like, I went to every rainforest cafe in the like
Yeah.
in the US, you know, or these just crazy challenges.
Yep. In
And
50
so
states,
some of
50 days.
exactly.
Yeah.
Some of the more interesting episodes, he takes a straight man and makes him live in a gay world. So, a conservative Christian man lives for 30 days with a homosexual man in a majority gay neighborhood in San Francisco.
Interesting. That one
And
I'm very curious about.
it was
Like,
really hard to find any of these episodes online, unfortunately.
oh, okay.
Um, Yeah, you gotta do some digging. You could
Yeah.
find a few here and there. There's binge drinking mom, who is a mom that binge drinks for 30 days so that her daughter could see what a person would go through. Because basically her daughter was, I think, about to enter college.
Okay.
Um,
Oh my God, that's intense.
there's an episode called Gun Nation, where a gun control supporter who had a friend that was murdered by a shooting moves in with a father and son who are strong gun advocates.
Oh God.
And then the last one, and I'm pretty sure that this is either the episode that I saw in college or it's just the one that I remember the most.
Okay.
This one is called Immigration. A border patrolling Minuteman lives in a home of illegal immigrants. These are all descriptions straight from the Wikipedia, by the way.
Okay.
But yeah, and it's interesting because these are obviously all still issues that we have in society today where it's like these one-sided issues.
Yep. That's what I was just gonna say. These topics are still like relevant today, I feel like
Yeah.
for some, I mean, for some for good reason, but some for just like, gosh, we're still working through this. Okay.
Right. And so it's just like I feel like they're even more heated today, obviously, and I find it so crazy. Can you imagine them sending an ICE officer to live with a family of undocumented
No, but I kind
immigrants?
of want them to just to freaking ha
Yeah,
again,
like
like
build some
have,
empathy.
yeah, have the empathy.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, like, you don't know how you're not living their life, so it might help gain another perspective, I feel
Gain some
like.
insight.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically why I got so interested in that show is just I am such a big sucker for anything that is kind of like heartwarming or just social, just I don't know, any sort of like sociology, honestly, or
Yeah.
anything like that. Um, and then the next part of Morgan Spurlock's career happened in 2017. What are some big things that you remember from this year by chance? Like 2016, 2017 era.
Gosh, okay. I was,
And I'm talking like socially
yeah,
around
I'm
the
trying to like
world.
go back to where I was
Hmm.
at that point. God, I don't even know.
This is the part where Morgan Spurlock enters the Me Too movement. So, okay, so in 2017, in the midst of the Me Too movement happening, um,
Editing Aaron here. Please just note that this next part does contain discussion of sexual assault, violence, and harassment. Please listen with care or feel free to skip ahead. Thank you.
he wrote a very long blog post, and I'm going to read a few highlights for you. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but just the important parts. So he says, as I sit around watching hero after hero, man after man fall at the realization of their past indiscretions, I don't sit by and wonder who will be next. I wonder, when will they come for me? You
God.
see, I've come to understand after months of these revelations that I am not some innocent bystander. I am also a part of the problem. Skipping ahead. Over my life, there have been many instances that parallel what we see every day in the news. When I was in college, a girl who I hooked up with on a one-night stand accused me of.
So
That's not what happened, I told her. This wasn't how I remembered it at all. And keep skipping forward a bit. Then there was the time I settled a sexual harassment allegation at my office. This was around 8 years ago, and it wasn't a gropey feely harassment. It was verbal, and it was just as bad. I would call my female assistant hot pants or sex pants when I was yelling to her from the other side of the office. I can see your your shocked
my
face.
God.
Something I thought was funny at the time, but then realized I had completely demeaned and belittled her to a place of non-existence. Skipping forward. And then there's the infidelity. I have been unfaithful to every wife and girlfriend I have ever had. Over the years, I would look each of them in the eye and proclaim my love, and then have sex with other people behind their backs. And then
What
a
was
little bit
his
forward.
purpose here? Like to get ahead of it or like
Yes, essentially.
oh my
And
God.
so then, skipping forward, he says, "But why? What caused me to act this way? Is it all ego, or was it the sexual abuse I suffered as a boy and as a young man in my teens? Abuse that I only ever told to my first wife for fear of being seen as weak or less than a man? Is it because my father left my mother when I was a child, or that she believed he never respected her, so that disrespect carried over into their son? Or is it because I've consistently been drinking since the age of 13? I haven't been sober for more than 1 week in 30 years, something our society doesn't shun or condemn, but which only served to fill the emotional hole inside me and the daily depression I coped with. Depression we can't talk about because it's wrong and makes you less of a person." And then skipping forward again, "But I am also part of the solution. By recognizing and openly admitting what I've done to further this terrible situation, I hope to empower the change within myself. We should all find the courage to admit we're at fault. More than anything, I'm hopeful that I can start to rebuild the trust and the respect of those I love most. I'm not sure I deserve it, but I will work every day to earn it back. I will do better. I will be better."
So he was drinking that whole time during the
That's one of the major things that everybody took away from this was, "Oh, you were drinking."
there's a
Yes.
lot to
That's
take
why I say
from
it was
that.
one of them.
Yeah.
It really brought a lot of like questions about the legitimacy of the documentary, which is why when I was watching it and I saw all those clips about your liver and like, "Are you drinking now?" No.
Yeah. In
You
this
know?
moment, like in this moment right now, no, I'm not.
Right.
Oh my
um,
God.
so that's what happened. I feel like I don't know. Any other thoughts about that letter?
I mean so many. I really am just it's interesting because like he taking accountability and like,
Mhm.
recognizing and working towards better is what you want, but like, I just don't know what his thought process was of
Yeah.
releasing it. I mean, yeah, getting ahead of it, like what was the
Mhm.
purpose necessarily?
It was like, and I think he really thought of it as like a, this is my personal growth. Like I'm recognizing like this Me Too movement is happening around us. I'm recognizing that, oh, like the way that society is not okay, and I am part of the problem. So yeah, I'm gonna say something about it before somebody else does. And I want people to know that I do regret, my choices that I've made, and I want to be a better person moving forward. I felt like it was really well written, and it felt like it came from the heart.
Okay.
Um,
Mhm.
Obviously, this immediately canceled him
I was gonna
as
say,
a person. He had to step down from Warrior Poets, which was a company that he founded in 2004. And when this was all happening, he was actually in the midst of releasing Supersize Me 2.
oh God, okay.
And it was supposed to be published by YouTube Red, but they dropped it. And then it was also supposed to be shown at Sundance, but they dropped it as well. It did eventually get released in 2019 by Samuel Goldwyn Films, and you can watch it on Tubi, which is where I watched both of these documentaries.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And another person that like dropped him was Sean Lawton, who was apparently Morgan's speaking agent. And now I have a few quotes from it's from a podcast called Sporkful that I listen to, and I think they mostly talk about anything food related. So
Yeah.
they did an episode about Supersize Me and Morgan Spurlock, and they talked with Sean Lawton, and they also spoke with Morgan's ex-wife Alex, who I mentioned. She's actually a big part of the documentary. I just didn't really talk about her much.
Okay.
Sean Lawton was Morgan's speaking agent, and I don't know if does that just mean when Morgan speaks in public places or something?
I
That's
don't know.
basically what I'm interpreting
Yeah,
that
that's a
means.
good question. Okay.
Sean Lawton said, one of the things that, in our later years and later conversations that always rubbed him the wrong way, talking about Morgan, is there were people who didn't ever apologize. They didn't take ownership of it and they didn't wind up getting canceled. They still got endorsements. They still got to do deals. They still got to go out in the public. And he never got that opportunity and he felt like, but I confessed, I apologized. Why didn't I get the same grace? He was always looking for that fast forward button. It's like, how do we skip this part? And I'm like, you can't skip this part. I said, you're going to have to go through this and you don't get to decide how long that's going to take. And that was the one thing that, we probably had maybe 3 or 4 conversations over the years after that. And, every time it always started with, hey, can you bring me back as a client? I really want to go out there and I want to do speaking again. And, I really love it. And I'm like, look, you're one of the best speakers I've ever worked with. You've been a great friend. You were a huge part of my early career. You put me on the map as a speaking agent, but I mean, we don't live in a world right now where we can just act like this didn't happen. I mean, you confessed to some bad things. And he was like, well, what else do I have to do? And I'm like, that's not for me to decide, but you have not healed yourself enough to be able to go out and resume your work. And that was the one thing that I just don't know if it ever got through to him.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And it's like, it's weird because I feel like I understand Morgan's like frustration because he's like, I'm taking accountability for this thing. Like, and other people, aka our president, don't get canceled.
Yeah.
And
I know. This is where like I was kind of struggling a bit because I see where he's coming from of taking the accountability and apologizing and saying he's going to work on it and stuff.
right. But also we see the victims.
But also I see, yeah, I'm thinking about the
Mhm.
victims, and I also there's been such an interesting timeline of cancel culture in general.
Mhm.
Of it happened a lot, I think, for a while, like after, like during Me Too, and then after, but now it's almost just gone.
Cancel culture is gone?
It's not gone, but it's just like less. Like there are certain things I think.
I think it's like because it almost went too extreme sometimes,
Yes.
maybe. So people are like, okay, well, we have to give people grace for some stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that kind of what you mean?
Yes, yeah, yeah. It just was interesting. It felt like there's a lot of canceling for quite a few years, and then it just felt like you don't hear about it quite as much.
Yeah.
But that could be a whole nother topic. Also, it's just like
Cancel culture.
Yeah,
That's true. It's interesting.
it is.
Okay, and then in the Sporkful episode, he spoke with the ex-wife, Alex, like I mentioned, and one of the things that they were talking about was the drinking claims. And so his ex-wife said, yes, Morgan drank alcohol throughout his life, but he had stopped drinking a month before completely. Wasn't drinking during, wasn't drinking after, because he was like, I don't want booze to impact anything. So he was like super clean. And then there was a filmmaker that was also interviewed. And so this is the filmmaker of Supersize Me. So I guess he like stayed with Morgan during the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is a good friend of him, and his name is Scott Ambrosi. And when he was asked about the drinking, he said, there's only one person in the world that can tell you whether he was drinking or not. Okay. And that would be me, because I was with him, for those 30 days, if not 24 hours a day, 23. And I can guarantee you that he was not drinking during those times, unless he was in the bathroom and he had a vial and he's swigging it down. But, I didn't notice any kind of change in his behavior or, in his abilities and whatnot. And to be perfectly honest, I truly don't believe that he would break his own rule. The rule was he could only consume something if it came from McDonald's, and he did not break that rule. And I was there and I know he didn't.
Interesting. So then why did he say that he hadn't gone longer than a week, in
Yeah.
30 years?
Both Scott and Alex said that when he wrote that letter, he was intoxicated. So he wasn't in his right mind when he wrote that letter. I'm a little confused as to why he wouldn't recant that then, like
Yeah.
later. Oh, sorry guys, I misspoke about this line here, or that was just in general. I didn't have like a sober week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, and that was like the documentary was such a huge part of his career. So you would
Right.
think of if any time, he would recant that
Yeah.
to correct it because of his credibility for that he's already been questioned about and everything too.
Right. What do you feel about those two being so adamant about him not drinking?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard because I could see him being sneaky about, like, there are ways that people
Mm-hmm.
will do it to be sneaky,
Mm-hmm.
but if they didn't notice anything, behavior change or anything like that, then maybe not. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe they're right. He didn't.
It is complicated because I feel like the evidence is so like damning against him, like with all of those clips about liver and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like I have to believe these two people, at least that they believe they're correct.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like we will never know the actual truth, but their opinions are credible and they know him a lot more than I do. Like I literally don't know him at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. But also, like, a month, or so she's claiming 2 months of not drinking, so a month before,
Right.
and then a month, the month that this went on, and
Mm-hmm.
also 2 months of not drinking. Can that fully, like, repair your liver, kind of
Right.
thing? Because he could have been
Right.
drinking, 31 days before he started, and then
Mm-hmm.
drank again one day after he finished, and
Right.
he still could. That kind of situation could still be the fatty liver. I don't know, but they claim he didn't have a fatty liver when he got all that health
Well, yeah,
work?
originally they said like, "Oh, everything looks fine." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then the only other thing that I will say about this that it's like, well, maybe he wasn't drinking
Mm-hmm.
was that fatty liver disease wasn't as well known back then.
Okay.
They didn't really know that it could be caused by such high fat diet as they
Yeah.
do now. It's actually a lot more common of like a diagnosis for people to have now.
Interesting. Okay.
And so it could just have been poor timing. They just didn't really know about it so
Yeah.
much back then.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. What do we have to go off of? I mean, if that's what they know him the best, like you said, and
Mm-hmm.
he was around him a lot, the one guy, and the wife was around. So.
So getting close to the end here, but he obviously did release Supersize Me too.
Okay. Yep.
Um, and I have about 11 more pages of notes, and I'm just kidding. um, and I started watching it. I actually didn't finish. But I just kind of wanted to explain like what it was about. So he didn't do another challenge so much like you know, Supersize Me, eating at McDonald's type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
This documentary was like all about chicken. Um, and so he decides to open up his own fast food chicken restaurant
Okay.
and trying to do it in a way where it's actually healthy, quote unquote. And he's like doing a lot of deep diving and investigative work into like what people consider to be healthy food and how big corporations will make things seem healthier than they actually are with a lot of the ways that they label things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was some pretty interesting scenes where he gets a chicken farm because he decides that for his restaurant, he's going to actually raise the chickens
Okay.
that he's selling um, as food.
Mm-hmm.
And so he gets this chicken farm, and well, they're just little chicks when he first gets them.
Right.
And it was just so interesting to see them transporting them. And these chicks are considered cage free, free range, all these things.
Mm.
But it's just like piles. They look like cotton swabs or something
Yeah.
in these crates of chickens that are like just stacked on top of each other.
Yep.
And then they were in the breeding facility where he actually got the chickens from. And I mean, man, they just like throw them around.
Oh
These people
God.
just literally throw the little chicks around. They're to determine the sex, they had to separate them or whatever. So that's when they were kind of throwing them. They're just like treating this, it's a factory job, and they're just like flicking
Oh
them
my
over to whichever
God.
pile. And then they had to vaccinate them. And so then they're like put their necks up to this needle thing, and it was just weird. They would just take it and just and then throw it to the side or whatever.
That is
And
so sad.
I know, and the thing that was shocking to me was Morgan asked it was a farmer that was giving him the tour of the place. And he's like, "Have you ever been poked by that?" And the guy's just like, "Yes, it hurts." And it was like, "Oh, it hurt your finger? Like you're putting it in this freaking little baby chick's neck,
That
you
is
know?"
so freaking
I
sad.
know.
Oh
And then
no. My
when
heart.
he got all the chicks back to his like farm that he was going to take them to, he's he goes inside this big barn, and he's got this like box of little chicks, he puts it on the ground and he's like taking them out gently and putting them on the ground. And then he's got some other guy there with him that's like a more seasoned farmer. And he just takes a box and he just throws it on the ground. And Morgan's just like, well, you did that a lot less delicately than me. And the farmer's just like, yeah, that'll stimulate them. Like whatever that means.
What? Okay. I
But
don't.
yeah, it was interesting a little to see all the ways that they can go about making it sound like they have, the best quality chicken
Yeah.
without really doing much of
Yeah,
anything.
like the standards for that stuff is actually like to be considered free range
Mm-hmm.
or cage free and all of that is actually it's not like what you picture, what they want you to
Right.
think of a little chicken frolicking through a field and whatnot. And
Right.
it's
It's
so
definitely not like that at
sad.
all.
Ugh, I thought that that's what this was gonna like be about. That I mean, I guess kind of it was in some ways. His
Like my entire episode or
no,
what?
the second Supersize Me too.
Well, it is. Like I said, I haven't finished it unfortunately. But yeah, it's just and then the other part of it too is not just the chickens. They go on a tour of like all the fast food and the fast casual restaurants and basically see like how all the decorations just make it look like it's a healthy restaurant.
Oh.
By using a lot of like words like fresh, simple ingredients, freshly cracked eggs and like you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, or
And
like
just like
pictures of like lettuce and tomato and then like
exactly. Yes.
yeah, okay.
And so I think he's trying to take all of those things together to make his restaurant be like, it's so healthy, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But I think that's kind of where it's getting to.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So that is, oh, so then the story really does conclude. Last year in May of 2024, he actually passed away due to complications from cancer,
No
which is why I've
way.
been like saying everything like in past tense, kind of.
Oh, I didn't I didn't pick up on that.
So yeah,
Oh,
I mean, I don't really have anything to say about that. It sounded like it was a pretty rough form of cancer. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I just think that his legacy is very interesting because I think it would be hard to measure the impact that it had on fast food and the way that we as Americans view fast food and
mm-hmm.
just food in general. Um,
Yeah, like I'm
but I
glad
think he
that
definitely had an impact.
I was gonna say, yeah, I feel like, some of these things have changed. Some of it is still similar or the
Right.
same, but I think like it's the nutritional value of things, that being on the menu. I don't know if that
Mhm.
was directly because of him, but it had
Right.
to be somewhat based on the attraction that the first one kind of got.
Yeah.
It's a big impact, I
Yeah.
feel like bigger than you
And
think about. Like think of how many things in culture.
well, especially for like a documentary.
Yeah,
Like documentaries never make it that like
yeah,
mainstream, I feel,
right.
unless it's like Tiger King. I don't
Yeah,
know. Just
yeah.
but it's just like it doesn't happen too often, you know?
Yeah, it's few and far between. Yeah, and then it just kind of takes over and affects society and culture and everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, interesting.
Um and I also wanted to talk about just how it's always interesting when like you have to kind of separate the person from their art in a way,
Hmm.
which is like another big discussion, especially revolving around cancel culture,
Yeah,
like obviously we're going to cancel J.K. Rowling, but I still love Harry Potter. And I'm not saying that I'm like, oh my God, I love Supersize Me or anything like that, but it's just like
it's a
his work is
dichotomy.
interesting and I still kind of enjoyed watching it, even though it had its flaws, the documentary did.
Yeah,
And I think 30 Days in particular was really cool. I kind of wanted to delve more into watching episodes of that, but I was like, man, this is getting out of hand.
yeah. No, that's fair. Yeah, it is an interesting question because then I just like I do think about the victims or
Mm-hmm.
the things that J.K. Rowling says and how that affects people, that kind of thing. But yeah, how do you separate the two? Because
Mm-hmm.
I don't condone that. But yeah, I love the Harry Potter books and
Mm-hmm.
that
And the world.
in the world. Yeah, that's tough.
So yeah, that is Morgan Spurlock
Do you
for you.
remember
Mm-hmm.
in sixth grade? I think one of our teachers had, I think it was a McDonald's cheeseburger or some form of food, like pinned up in his classroom
Oh,
or something like that, and he said it was 15 years old, or there was some,
that's
maybe
gross.
there was some
I could see
form of
that.
food,
Um,
and his point was this of just like the
it's like not
preservatives.
real food. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was like a cheeseburger or something, or just maybe the patty and the bun. I don't know
Mm.
that he, just
I
had
don't remember
sitting.
that, but I can definitely picture him doing that.
Yeah, I feel like that's what it was, but I could be wrong. But I just remember being like, oh my God, that's gross. And I didn't
Right.
realize that. And this all kind of ties in, I feel like. But
Yeah. So I hope that was interesting to you.
yeah, that was.
And now I can get out of my head because it's been all I've been thinking about for 2 weeks.
I honestly need to go back and watch some of this, watch some of the
Mm-hmm.
clips, and just a lot of it sounded familiar, and I can like picture little
Mm-hmm.
scenes in my head, but it is kind of blurry. So I want to
Yeah.
go back and kind of learn a little bit more about that, or just watch some of
Cool.
those. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, what's your hint for next week? Do I get one?
I don't have a topic yet, so
Oh, you're still yeah.
sorry.
All right, never mind.
I
It's gonna be a true surprise.
Yeah, I should have thought about that beforehand.
No, that's okay.
I was more like, oh, I don't have to think of a topic this week, so I'm like,
Yeah.
you know,
You took the
but
week off.
I
I
took
get
the
it.
week off.
Yeah, no, I think I need the week off because I'm stressed and tired.
Oh God,
But
I
yeah,
know. Yeah, hopefully that migraine and headache goes away.
yeah,
Is your
thank you.
migraine still there?
It's just like the weird symptoms. Like every
Oh,
once in a while, my vision looks weird, or like I said, I was struggling with reading the words.
yeah, gotcha.
So,
Okay. Well, I don't know if this is what we've decided for sure as our closer, but thanks for spiraling with us this week on Hyperfixation Time. I hope you learned something new with us. And now it's your turn. What weird little rabbit hole have you fallen into recently? DM us, tag us, email us, whatever you think. And I'm sure we've all been there. DM us.
yeah, it would be fun if like eventually we could talk about what people are interested in
Yeah, DM us,
or
tag us, and
something.
maybe it'll come up in an episode. Maybe we'll do an episode about it because
Yeah,
who knows? Either way, we want to know. Chase the weird, embrace the spiral, and never apologize for caring too much.
I love it.
I don't know if that's actually gonna be the thing, but
It's great.
we'll edit it and we'll figure it out. We'll get it down.
Alrighty.
Um,
Well, talk to you next time then.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye bye.